Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film and sometimes TV. And tonight we're going to analyze and do a recap of this year's Academy Awards. There's a lot to talk about for this year's ceremony. A lot of interesting things happened. But before we get into that, I want to welcome my wonderful panel of guest critics. We've got Erica A. Welcome back, Erica.
Glad to be here. Excited for tonight and the main topics and the more important things too.
And lovely power couple, Rachel Kolb and Eric Godfrey. Hey guys, what's up?
How's it going?
Hey.
Good to see you guys. So we had a nice little viewing party the other night for the Oscars. But before we get into that, weekly watches. What are we watching this week? Whenever I have a free moment, it's just Seinfeld on Netflix at this present time. But Erica, I know you're always your TV's always on. So what are you watching this week?
My TV's not always on, but yeah, I have my anime on all night Saturday. I've got Sanderson Returns. It's 2 episodes in. I have Outlander. It's a few episodes in. Returned. It is not as good as it used to be. I've been very disappointed. My Brilliant Friend is back. The Gilded Age just ended. The Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir just hit their finale. It was a terrible season with a really great ending, and it actually makes me want to return to the next season. I have been watching the shows on the CW, Flash and Kung Fu Returned. I still have, of course, the other Arrowverse shows, Superman and Lois's episodes. I'm not interested in many of the other things that are on right now. I've been watching a new show called Endgame, which was last time I was on with you. I explained it really badly. I finally have a title for it. I enjoyed The Cleaning Lady when it ended a few weeks ago on Fox. I keep watching. I finally got to see a few movies that came to cable now that I'm free again. I caught up on the most recent Clifford the Big Red Dog. I watched G.I. Joe Snake Eyes prequel movie. So I'm always keeping up watching anything.
How was Clifford? I didn't catch that one.
I actually found it very weird. I thought it distorted the story. And if I had to compare it to something, I might actually compare it to the most rebooted of the Ninja Turtle movies, where they randomly inserted this weird laboratory plot.
So live action characters and CGI characters as well.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna see Clifford the Big Red Dog, but yeah, you guys are nodding your head.
I was going to say, I believe everything is worth watching one, otherwise you don't have a fair opinion on it. Like next weekend, I'll be watching Venom 2. It's the new movie on Starz this coming weekend.
Oh, Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, Venom Carnage.
Not terrible. I mean, I love the stuff with, Brock and Venom. Like they had a great odd couple chemistry. I think we talked about this in the past. But other than that, the movie was pretty much a mess.
I read enough of the spoilers, but that's the next thing I'm like, oh, good, I'm going to get around to that.
Then you're probably looking forward to Morbius this week.
In a year from now when it comes to TV.
Okay. I like the honesty. Rachel and Eric, what are you guys watching?
Well, this past week, I have been watching some old Simpsons. I was actually watching a bunch of old Simpsons today. Ended up watching Last Temptation of Homer. Ended up watching let's see, what were the other ones?
There was a lot.
There were some great episodes. I think I was right.
It was mainly season 5.
Yeah,
so
it was middle of season 5.
Yeah, so it was still the golden era of Simpsons.
Yeah, there was a string of just really great episodes back to back. I also have been watching Drag Race because they finally started eliminating queens again. For like several weeks there, they were just not eliminating queens. And they've had this ongoing saga involving all the queens have a chocolate bar. And if they get eliminated, they have to open it up and see if it's just chocolate or if they have a golden ticket, because there's one golden ticket that will save them once from elimination if they are eliminated from the game. And we also got a musical episode this past week that was Moulin Rouge was the name of it.
Okay.
and it was obviously their take on Moulin Rouge.
Right.
And I am firmly Team Angeria at this point, though I'm also a big fan of Willow Pill and some of the other queens. And the last thing I've been watching is rewatching season 1 of Ted Lasso.
Of course.
Okay.
You
Can't
are
get
a
enough of that.
huge fan of that, and I'm still just 2 episodes in, and I have yet to find the appeal. Sudeikis is great, but this show, I mean, I can't really get into it. I'm gonna keep charging forward.
I always believe for the first season, especially episode 3, is where that's kind of where it's like, if it gets you, that's where it gets you.
And Eric, I assume you're watching the same stuff.
Basically, for me, I'm also more just getting ready for tomorrow when Moon Knight drops. So I'm definitely very excited for Moon Knight to see how this one pans out. It's a fascinating hero, and the Marvel experiment continues, and we'll see how they handle a hero whose big thing is all about multiple personalities.
I'm just excited to see Oscar Isaac because the man can do no wrong.
I completely agree with you, but then now that I know this won't mean anything to you, at least at first, the fact that the Mr. Knight persona is going to be one of his personalities, and we're going to see him in the Mr. Knight suit. That's perfect.
I mean, I'm excited because the last couple Marvel series have been really good. So I just think they can because Hawkeye was fantastic. And that was just a wonderful Christmas present. So hopefully was it Moon Knight or Moonfall? Moon Knight, yeah. Mixing it up with the Roland Emmerich film. But yeah, I'm excited for that too. So we'll probably review that down the road, FYI.
Yeah, it's a very odd character. If it's like the comic book, it will definitely be more violent than most of the other Marvel ones, because Moon Knight tends to be a much more more daredevil-y. He's much more ambiguous in terms of his heroism.
Interesting.
And I don't think he gets many opportunities to really be used in pop culture. I think I can only think of 1 or 2 times where he's had plots in animated shows.
Yeah, well, because he's always an like I said, he's a weird character with multiple personalities.
I know, but that's what I was saying. So it's interesting to see him now in live action, because I don't think he ever gets that kind of attention.
Yeah, and also the fact that he basically started life as Marvel's parody of Batman. So I wonder if people if they're gonna kind of lean into that a little bit, or just try to avoid the fact that yes, he has a lot of Batman stuff that was on purpose.
Is he funny? Is the character funny, or is he kind of just like a dark brooding type?
He's much more darker because of the whole. Well, I mean, the problem is, again, depends on the personality.
Okay.
And that's why I think the Mr. Knight one. That's why I'm looking forward to, because Mr. Knight is much more funny, much more charismatic than Moon Knight or his other personas.
So, are we going to get a Marvel take on Memento?
Possibly. I mean, that's the thing that they seem to be leaning into on the show, is that the personalities don't share the same memory. So it seems that they're going where he's very much discombobulated when he keeps shifting back and forth between the different versions of himself.
If it's as trippy as you would describe it, I think we're in for a real treat.
Yeah, no. Well, the trailer, I mean, it's like the costume is perfect. That's the thing I can't get over. Like the Moon Knight, the whole suit looks amazing.
Nice.
So,
all right, now I'm more excited about it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I can't wait to see this.
Cool. And Rachel, back to you. Are you watching that cake show on Netflix? The one cakes that look like objects?
I have not watched it yet. Some of my classmates in school have been watching it in culinary school, but it's one that I haven't gotten to yet. Maybe I'll give it a watch tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll probably check out the first episode at some point. Awesome. And yeah, again, for me, it's just random episodes of Seinfeld. I'm on season 4 right now. Sorry, season 3. I'm trying to go in order, but yeah, you can mix and match them. They're so great. Just each episode is just a work of art in its own right. Also, I've been going down memory lane with Saturday Night Live, old skits from the 80s and 90s, my personal favorite era. Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, all that good stuff. So yeah, if you want to put a smile on your face, just watch a 6-minute clip of a skit from the early 90s. And yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, guys. So now we're going to discuss the Academy Awards. The telecast was just on Sunday evening. I'm dressed in my post-Oscar garb. And I had the privilege and honor of having you guys there with me. Erica, you were there in person. So was Forrest. My friend Kevin was there too. He made an appearance. And Rachel and Eric, you were there through Zoom. And it was just a wonderful evening. And I just want to thank you guys for spending that with me. So that was really, really cool. We were in for an interesting show. Things were moving kind of, at a normal pace, kind of standard stuff, nothing really new or special to talk about. But then there came Slapgate. And when Chris Rock, I believe he was presenting one of the documentary awards.
Documentary feature, yeah.
Feature, okay. He made a crack.
That controversial subject.
Yeah, very, right?
Well, he made quite a few things here and there. Right. He was doing a whole spiel.
So I'm not going to recreate the whole thing, but he did make an inappropriate joke. I thought it was funny, but Will Smith did not think it was so amusing, and he proceeds to go up on stage and slap Chris Rock across the face. And I just want to get this over with, but I just want to really quickly find out what you guys thought. Here we are 2 days later. Erica, what did you think of the whole fiasco?
Oh, starting with me. Okay. I feel I might have the weirdest opinion, but I feel the most for Jada Pinkett Smith. Because it's like, yes, everyone has to take the butt of the joke, and then Will is like being eaten alive, and suddenly you don't know what's going on, and you see Chris just yell the joke again, and suddenly you're just sort of looking, is this part of the joke? Is this real? But at first, when we got back to it later, I'm like, did she leave? Because the camera was so close. I'm like, was her personal health issues and her life so devastating? Did she leave? But then after he won, we saw the larger shot. I'm like, oh, good, she's okay. It didn't upset her. So
she's tough. Take it.
Yeah, she is tough. But apparently, if it caused that much of a reaction from Will Smith, it has to be something for her. So for me, that's where I stand. And I feel the worst for her that her personal life was just like, okay, I've talked about it and now I'm being made fun of. And now it's just such a controversy.
Yeah, it is. At first, I honestly thought when I saw it live, I thought it was just he, just did a motion. I didn't think he actually made contact.
I know, it looked like a phantom swing.
Right, like a joke, because they're both, Chris Rock is a comedian, Smith has done comedic work, so I thought it was just a bit. But I went back the next day and replayed the video, and you actually do hear a significant sound when he moves his hand across his face. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that he did that the night that he won the top award for acting. So it's like a weird, bittersweet thing, Rachel.
I mean, my feeling is that it tainted the entire night, and it tainted that victory for him. Yeah. And I'm in the camp of they were both idiots. Like Chris Rock, I personally don't think it was a funny joke. Like, I think he was kind of bombing up to that point. Like, he'd made some jokes about Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz, who he didn't even bother to name Penelope Cruz. He just referred to her as Javier's wife. And it's like, she's nominated tonight. Like, she's a very well-established actress.
Right.
It was really strange. And the fact that he couldn't pull a reference any more recent than G.I. Jane, which came out how many years ago at this point? Right. It just, the whole thing just was like, it would have been better if Will Smith had just not risen to it. Sure. It would have been better if he would have just let him talk, just let him do his bit and bomb, and then get up, give his speech, and talk about that. It's like, yeah, I laughed at it, and then I looked over and saw my wife's face and saw how upset she was about it and realized this is not okay. And he would have come off as a hero and nobody would have questioned, like, you know, like, I don't think anyone would have been on Chris Rock's side at that point, but there is no excuse for
Right.
going up and assaulting someone like that. Just there isn't an excuse.
Of course. It's barbaric. It's you know, something from the ghetto. It's just not appropriate in any shape or form. You know,
Well, it's definitely some full-on like toxic masculinity going on. Also, like the whole thing of I have to go up and defend my woman, blah blah blah. Like that, him going up and slapping him did not feel like it was for Jada. It felt like it was for him. That it's like, you insulted my wife, so you insulted me. That type of thing.
Well, wasn't there also the controversy from when Chris Rock hosted that he's been holding on to this grudge, and now
you can't get inside anyone's head. You can't, like, who knows? Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I mean, it's like that's
okay,
between
I was
the
just
two
saying
of
that
them.
because there was like an article, someone was like, oh, after Will Smith had to sit through it the year he didn't win, he made some comments then, so it's possible.
We're looking at probably the most, in 48 hours, the most analyzed pop culture event in 20 years. And at the end of the day, who knows what was going through anyone's brains at that time. So we can speculate, we can do all that stuff, but we have no clue what was going on. And so it's all we can do is just go, I'm pretty much Rachel on that one. It's like, shouldn't have done that. Chris Rock was an idiot. Will Smith was an idiot. And at least one thing that we have is the fact that Will Smith has come out with a full apology. And one thing that I appreciate about it, even though everyone is right, it's like, of course his PR team wrote it. That's how that works when you're at that level. But at least it was an acknowledgement of the fact that, like, at the end of the day, it cast a pale over not just Will Smith's victory, but the night as a whole, and a night that had a lot of wonderful victories, a lot of great victories. And
I want to actually disagree. Oh,
I mean that's fine. We can disagree, but at the
I just
same time,
wanted to make a comment about
it's the
night.
thing of, it's like,
no, but I was
just gonna make a comment about it.
I just wanted to jump that I don't think it tainted the night as much as it brought on a new level of people who would never look at the award shows, who are news crazed. Suddenly there's a whole different level of the Oscars. It's not a positive thing, but in a way this also brought an audience that would never care before.
That's a good point, but it's really not the type of attention we want for the motion picture's biggest night. So it's sad that this is the thing that will probably bring more viewers next year. So it's a shame. It's a weird moment in Oscar history, but it happened, and I think we should move on now.
I think hopefully like the rest of the world, we can all just be like, it happened, move on.
Right.
Well, the rest of the world move on though.
Yeah, it's going to take a few weeks.
No. No,
they're gonna keep squeezing back for as many.
Yeah,
right.
I unfortunately believe that every stand-up comic for the next year is going to have a Will Smith bit. Not just Chris Rock, but everyone will have a joke about it, and it's going to be like, it's going to be so exhausting.
Yeah, this is the epitome of a meme, and we've so far gotten hundreds of them, and a lot of them are really funny. I'm not going to lie. But Will Smith, shame on you, sir. Kudos and shame on you. So, all right, guys. So we're gonna take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more coverage of the 2022 Academy Awards right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Unger on the radar. And we just got past some ugliness in Oscar history. It'll be with us forever, unfortunately. But what's really important on Oscar night are the winners. And this year we had some fantastic films. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about it now that we're 2 days after the show aired. Coda won Best Picture, and this was tied for me for Best Film of the Year with Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I am so happy that this won. Erica, you had a thought?
I'm sorry, I was just like, of course, Ghostbusters Afterlife would be your time.
I have to. Come on.
Yeah.
No, but Coda is just a fantastic film. Those watching this show right now, if you haven't seen Coda, check out Apple TV Plus. I believe it's on there right now, and it's just such a beautiful film. I can't think about it without putting a smile on my face. But guys, what were your thoughts on the Best Picture nominees? Were you surprised that some didn't win, or Eric?
I'm surprised, basically. Like, I was in the impression that, like, with kind of the rest of the stuff, that the big powerhouse movies were going to be West Side Story and Power of the Dog. I thought there was going to be a lot of trade-offs, especially on the technical side. And the fact that really both Power of the Dog and West Side got shot, like, they got director, and you got Ariana DeBose,
right,
well-deserved, winning Best Supporting Actress. And other than that, it was like, nope, you two movies stand aside. In comes Dune and Coda for everything else.
Pretty much. I would have thought West Side Story would have snagged Spielberg an Oscar, or
I could have. And I think for me, the frustrating thing was that the Academy once again makes no sense in that it's like, hey, the best made movie of the year, every technical award was Dune.
Yeah,
but we're going to give it to another director. We're not, Denis was not even nominated. So you made the best movie, but we're not even going to nominate you for best director.
Okay, that's a big snub for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Denis was the biggest. Like, clearly now that his movie won the most Oscars of the night, and he didn't even get nominated while they gave every technical award to it. It's like, well, yeah, who brought all those people together to make it?
Right. It reminds me, I think it was James L. Brooks who directed As Good as It Gets. That movie was like nominated for everything else but director. So it's kind of strange.
Yeah, no, that's always frustrating when you have a movie up for every technical award and the director isn't even in consideration.
Yeah, interesting. And another weird moment in 1999 for the 98 awards, Spielberg won Best Director, but Best Picture went to Shakespeare in Love. So,
yeah, I think it's usually pretty common these days for Best Director and Best Film to not be. I think it's only been recently that we're finally seeing a link between Best Director and Best Picture.
Yeah, they usually go hand in hand for sure. Rachel, were you? Oh, sorry, Erica.
No, Rachel. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I was gonna say that I think the reason also why Jane Campion was front runner was it was not just because, yes, she made a very good movie. She did a great job. She absolutely deserves the accolades that came to her. She also happens to fall into a category that they got to have a historic moment. They got to be like, she is the first woman to ever be nominated twice for Best Director. No other female director has ever had that distinction. And she now gets to be the second to ever win. Now it's like Catherine Bigelow and her. That's it. And I think that also gave her, like, rightfully so, a bit of an edge in it. And the Oscars like doing the whole thing of, we're going to have a historic moment, and we're going to, like, create, a great television moment. So I think that the voters were swayed in that way.
Okay. Yeah, definitely a milestone for Academy history for that. Erica, what were your thoughts on the Best Picture?
I was very happy with who won Best Director. that she really did deserve it. And like Rachel was saying about the ability of being able to now claim that this is an achievement, this is a moment, especially with a year like this when so much time was taken away, that this is one of those moments that they have 3 of those this year and people who did win awards. And back to the Dune point that we were making, I think the point the Academy was making is that that the actual filming and making of Dune, the acting, the directing, so on, was not where they were looking, but the movie had so many other aspects that's why it walked away with all the technical awards, because it was so impressive a movie to make.
Yeah, and I guess Denis also did get nominated for adapted.
Right.
Yeah,
that would have been his chance to walk away with it. But and I mean, I get what you mean. It's just like, honestly, on the technical side, I'm a huge Dune fan. I loved it. I didn't think it was going to walk away with it.
And I feel like you're saying that if he gotten at least nominated, that'd be the honor.
Absolutely. Like, I don't even know. It's the thing of, it's like, what it weirdly reminds me of, and even though I think he was nominated that year, was Mad Max Fury Road, the year that it was up. I don't remember if George Miller was even nominated, but yeah, because that was another thing where it was like, it was winning all the technical awards and the director wasn't even in consideration, but it was like, but they were like, but you made the best movie. It was so well put together. Who made it? Well, we'll give it to somebody else.
Kind of hypocritical.
Yeah, so I think I just weirdly got that same vibe from when Fury Road was doing
weird line.
Yeah.
What was that?
I was saying it's like a weird divide, a line they drew in the sand.
Yeah. Well, and then especially like now that I even think about it, but like the fact that Fury Road and Dune are very genre picks, which usually the Academy is like, no, get away from us. Which is again why I thought Power of the Dog and West Side would do better, including in those technical awards.
Yeah. I think Power of the Dog won a bunch of other awards like Critics' Choice and SAG and it's interesting that didn't win. I'm pleasantly surprised because my love for Coda.
Yeah, and like I'm saying this, and I'm not. I honestly can't think of. I think the only one that genuinely made me go, wait, what, was Billie Eilish winning for No Time to Die.
Yeah.
It was the thing of, it's like, I'm like, it's an okay song. It was an okay Bond thing, but it's like, I would not give it the best song.
You wanted Lin-Manuel Miranda to win?
I think I probably would have gone with the
world expected
it.
Yeah. I just because it's like, I mean, I guess it was a fine. So the song they nominated was fine, but I feel like it's kind of the thing. It's like Encanto did have the music I went back to, like I see it as more of a whole, even though, but I guess it's just like No Time to Die was fine. So I think that's the only one I was like, really? Okay. I mean, if that's what you're voting for.
Yeah, there was some interesting choices, surprising choices. I mean, Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I actually did not expect that. I was expecting Olivia Colman to snag it for The Lost Daughter.
You thought she was going to snatch it away?
No, I did not think she was going to win. But
after the slap, that's what should have happened.
Colman would just like run up on stage and tackle it.
It's like, if Will Smith is dead, it's chaos. It's a fight for the Oscars.
No, I didn't mean a Kanye moment. Yeah. I didn't mean, oh, you deserve it, but I have to stand. I have to take it from you. I meant that the Academy was going to snatch it up and vote against her.
No, I need Olivia Colman to come up and body slam Jessica Chastain. And, like, take it
This is what it turns into. It turns into like Squid Game, but like the giant statue at the front is the like red light, green light girl.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's next year's awards. That's what they're doing. They're doing Squid Game for the Oscar.
Imagine.
Or they'll have it. Or someone will climb the scaffolding. Like, I always remember the VMAs when Rage Against the Machine didn't win, and suddenly he's up there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that moment. He just sat there for the whole show.
They're suddenly going to be up on the giant Oscar, raging.
I love it. Yeah. Crazier things have happened. So,
including Woody Harrelson and
oh god, yeah.
Because if there's one thing everybody watching the Oscars is like, hey, it's the 30-year anniversary of White Men Can't Jump. That Oscar-beloved film, White Men Can't Jump.
Oh my god! But they.
But I'm going to use it as a segue.
They all look really good. All three of them.
Mhm.
They've aged nicely. I must
They were the only two who definitely were like, yeah, we were backstage having a good time before we came out here.
Yeah, no stress with the awards. They weren't nominated. They're just celebrating each other 30 years later. I love it.
Like, I think comment to go on. I think that was like there's a lot of oddity. The ceremony as a whole. I don't know if we get into it. I think the ceremony as a whole, with take out the Will Smith stuff, was an absolute train wreck. And I think the weird thing was for me was those. Here's the 30th anniversary of White Man Can't Jump, and I'm like, and then the two that made sense to me was Pulp Fiction, because at least it's like, hey, we handed Samuel L. Jackson his Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, White Men Can't Jump is like a pop culture cult classic in a way.
But I mean,
And
I agree. But then it's like,
kind of.
then it's like Pulp Fiction, Godfather. Like, I don't see the through line here.
Also, there was the other one, the one where she has the baby and she gives it to
Juno. That's right.
Juno. Thank
you.
At
least with Juno, they wanted, like, at least with that one, it made sense because they're like, it's Elliot Page's. Like, we're gonna bring Elliot Page out. We're gonna make. And J.K. Simmons. So at least there was like that through line.
But I liked all the reunions. Yeah. I mean, I thought they were sort of interesting. I mean,
even though the Godfather one,
it's brilliant, but it's just sort of an amusing thing if it had been a uneventful evening.
I can see it. Although the Godfather one was weird just because you had Pacino and De Niro and they were just literally like bodyguards.
They were standing there like statues.
I like that. I thought that was really nice to have all three of them back together again.
Yeah. Which, they had them out as much dialogue between the two as they did in the movies.
And then you had the Pulp Fiction one, and they didn't let John Travolta say a word, so we couldn't mess it up.
Right.
It's like, sorry, John, we have to say the name, right? We have to have you over here.
Oh, so fun thing about John Travolta. I don't know if you guys saw the story that he actually adopted the dog that Jamie Lee Curtis brought out.
There's pictures now with the dog. That was sweet. That was a sweet moment.
Do you think he's happy he's like finally an Oscar show where nobody's talking about me? It's like John Travolta is on nobody's lips tonight.
He safely made it out of there. He didn't touch anyone's face. He didn't mess up anyone's name. He didn't fall off the stage or something.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like I did it. Go, John.
So we did mention Ariana DeBose, but Troy Kotsur for Coda, and
I love that.
Yeah, just making history for the deaf community. Incredible. And he had easily one of my two most emotional scenes of 2021, the finale of Coda. I'm not going to get into it because I'm sure there's people who haven't seen it yet, but I'm just so happy for Troy and the whole deaf community. That's really, really awesome. So kudos to them.
Yes, and there is a video online. If you look up on YouTube, there's a lot of videos of Troy Kotsur when he was working with the Deaf West Theater, including there's a video of him doing 3 of his favorite monologues from stage shows, and he's doing them all in ASL, and it's phenomenal. It's so good.
Yeah, he's also a director in his own right.
Yep,
and that's really, really cool. Yeah, I definitely want to see more. Everyone that was involved with the movie, I just want to see everything that they've ever done, and will do. But guys, overall, a great ceremony for 2021's best films. And Erica, overall, what did you think of the ceremony?
What did I think? I enjoyed parts of the red carpet. I thought that 3 hosts might have been too many. It's what made the show feel like it wasn't going to end. I enjoyed the reunions. There were a few moments that stood out. I was very glad. I think that's the most important thing, that there were no surprises. Everyone who expected to win, who had run with it all award season, didn't have their award ripped out from under them by the Academy because they threw someone else randomly into the category. It was people who earned it, who did the best performance, or what their fellow union members or colleagues and critics felt was the best performance, were the winners at the end.
Yeah, well put.
And then there were the interesting people who gave out the last few awards at the end. The seeing Lady Gaga come out with, I'm missing
Liza Minnelli.
Right.
Thank you.
No.
Liza Minnelli, and
Even
seeing
though
them
she-
give the award.
She didn't really know where she was, but it was still awesome to see that icon on stage. So
And yeah, honestly, that for me was the sweetest moment was
Mhm.
Gaga and Minnelli
Yeah.
on stage together.
And I felt like that didn't get any notice in it, so I was like, I just wanted to bring up that at the end.
Mhm.
and you touched on the hosts of the evening. So
Yes.
we've got Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes. Kind of an odd, triplet
Trio.
trio. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and we're gonna get into the history of the Oscars in just 1 minute, but I miss Billy Crystal. I know, I guess he's busy or he's semi-retired from hosting, but nobody beats him. It's either him or Bob Hope. And
I think he's doing a stage show in New York right now.
think you're
So
right.
I
that's
know.
yeah. So even if
Okay.
they wanted to get him this year, they couldn't have.
Could probably do it through Zoom. No, I don't know.
Or just do a cameo at the beginning where they do the let's meet all the movies.
Yeah, I
They
missed
added him
that.
in.
Those were great. They did those all throughout the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good segue into the history of the awards. And, we're almost at 100 years of Oscar. And Rachel, I'm just curious, are there any moments from the previous award ceremonies that kind of stick with you?
Oh, moments that stick with me. I mean, of course, everybody talks about the La La Land Moonlight debacle. That was definitely a big one.
Mhm.
I mean, it's still so powerful to go back and rewatch when Halle Berry won for Monsters Ball.
Yes.
Just her speech and the fact that she had the full weight and gravity of that moment on her shoulders as she was giving that speech.
Yeah, I remember that. That was from Monsters Ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it was 2001, I believe.
That sounds
And-
about right.
And she made basically Black history for being, I don't know if it's the only African American female
Yes.
to win
yeah.
Best Actress.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That's insane. And,
Yeah.
and I know the following year though, she presented Adrian Brody with Best Actor for The Pianist, and he planted one right on her lips.
Which honestly, that was really upsetting to me because
Yeah.
I'm like, she
Yeah.
didn't give any sort of indication that she was up for that.
Right,
or
right.
whatever. Like, yeah, it was.
Are we
Yeah.
calling that Kissgate?
Sure. We'll call it Kiss Gauge.
We're
We're
only
calling
20
that
years
the
so
ability
late.
to not smack him.
Yeah, that would
That
have
was a
been
moment
funny.
when
Will
when
Smith goes
Zach
back
would
in
have
time.
Of course, of course. Eric, how about you? Any memories that are with you?
I'm trying to think because the thing is, it's like a lot of the recent stuff. So yeah, of course, I think honestly for me, weirdly enough, because it's predating a lot of when the world turned around. I think the last time I was genuinely shocked was Parasite winning.
Yeah.
Like that
Parasite.
was the one I'm like, Parasite. Foreign film doesn't win. That
Right.
never happens. So it's like when they announced Parasite, I was just like I legitimately, like everyone else, like thinking back, like,
was
did they
that
just say
not-
Parasite?
Was that nominated for picture and foreign feature?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And did it
And
win?
so
both?
then-
In both categories.
And
It won
I
both,
think
yeah.
I don't remember what won Best Foreign because I don't think it won Best Foreign. Or did it? Because it
Did
made
it?
such a weird clean sweep. Because
That
I
was a
think
weird year, yeah.
Bong, he won Best Director that year. I'm trying to remember. I mean, that was
Oh,
like
in
only
fact,
2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, that was an interesting turn of events. Also,
Yeah, it was like-
Oscar history.
I think legitimately that was the last time I'd watched the Oscars and was taken completely by surprise that I'm like the movie that I wanted to win won. And so
Yeah, it won for both foreign film, best international feature film, for original screenplay,
Yeah,
for
it's-
director,
okay.
and for picture.
yeah, it's just so like that genuinely surprised me. I mean, I'm glad it did because it's well
And that
deserved.
doesn't happen often.
Exactly. And
Odd.
I think the only other way I
think
could have
the
been
only
surprised
time-
is I was and secretly still rooting for Mitchell's versus the Machines to win. But I'm always happy whenever Lord Miller, like especially Spider-Verse, taking it. It's like anytime Lord Miller takes anything, that always in the animated, that always makes me happy.
Yeah. Oh, also, going back to this year, the Japanese film Drive My Car was nominated for Best Picture and International Feature.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
But that
And I think was he also up for Best Director? The director who did Drive My Car?
Yes. A name that I'm not going to dare pronounce.
Like I think Ryusuke. Yeah, I'm going to butcher the last name.
Yeah, I'm not even going to.
You got to pronounce every syllable most of the time in the Asian. Like when I used to watch the original Ninja Warrior, you pronounce they all had semi-longer names, but you got to pronounce
Ryusuke Hamaguchi.
Ryusuke Hamaguchi.
There you go. That sounds good.
But I mean, being nominated for it, I feel like does happen, but when they actually win, that's the incredible thing. Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon won Best Foreign Film and it was up for Best Picture, but it didn't win. Right. And other times that happens. But I think the only time that really comes to mind that happened was the movie, like a year or two later, something about the happiness, which took place in World War II, and the guy who was
Roberto Benigni.
Thank you.
Roberto Benigni. That was
he was very happy.
Oh, that is truly memorable. Him climbing on the seats and
yes,
that's a happy winner.
Because I think that also that reminds me of the year that I was very angry because I think it was maybe that year or the year before that Shakespeare in Love beat Saving Private Ryan.
But I was so excited. I love Shakespeare in Love.
Really?
Me too. It's great.
Look, granted, I was young and I was just like, I'm like, Saving Private Ryan is the greatest movie ever. Like,
I think I saw it when it first came out. So, but I was like 13 at the time.
Oh, I was going to say, what were you, like 9 or 10?
Yeah. So this is So I was like, the war movie is important. It needs to win.
Yeah.
I like a nice romantic time period. And it was like the era where Judi Dench could play the queen in every movie that came out.
Very true. But I think the other time was I still don't know, but I still think maybe I would have had Crouching Tiger win over Gladiator.
I liked when Gladiator won, and it was Liz Taylor, and she stands there and she opens it. It's like Gladiator.
and Gladiator is a fantastic. It's Ridley Scott's magnum opus. It's a great movie. It's just like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I know Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has such a great cast, and it's such a fun movie to watch.
But
and I love the director.
I am glad Gladiator won Best Picture, but I am kind of disappointed that the Best Actor did not go to Denzel Washington for The Hurricane.
Who won that year?
That was Russell Crowe. He won Best Actor.
Oh, that was Crowe for Gladiator.
Yeah, they swept most of the categories.
That was Gladiator
because they were able to do the effects and the set and the costume and do the acting, directing, writing, adapting, whatever.
But it's a shame that Crowe won that year and did not win the following for A Beautiful Mind, because he deserved it for that. I think he was good in Gladiator, don't get me wrong, but he was phenomenal in A Beautiful Mind. Like, that's a powerful performance.
I think it was because the fact that really Gladiator, that was at a time like especially like Oscars really awarding like when a movie puts someone on the map. Like Russell Crowe is the star he is still because of Gladiator.
Yes.
And so I could see why he would get that award for that. I could definitely see that.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the year of A Beautiful Mind, though, you had Denzel winning, so it's like,
what did he win for that year?
How could you let's see.
He won for Training Day, but that was
he won for Training Day.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, how can you even that's like that was a stacked year.
Oh, he against Will Smith for Muhammad Ali.
For Ali. Yeah.
That was 2001, I think.
And that was the year Halle Berry won for Best Actress.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
Was it? I thought that was more recent.
Nope, it was that year.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly for Best Supporting for Beautiful Mind.
So the Best Actress category that year was Halle Berry for Monsters Ball, Judi Dench for Iris, Nicole Kidman for Moulin Rouge, Sissy Spacek for In the Bedroom, and one of my personal favorites, Renee Zellweger for Bridget Jones's Diary.
She's nominated for that? Okay.
Yes. Oh my goodness. She is so good in that movie.
Well, she was very good in Judy a couple years back.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But she's been great in so many things.
No, she's
Yeah.
I felt terrible the year that it was snatched from her with Chicago, right?
okay.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
that would have been her win, and no one expected that that's what I talk about when it's like you expect to win and suddenly you're like, it's mine. Am I gonna get it? I've made it all the way through award season and suddenly no, you have to look happy even though it's devastating.
I think that's what would have honestly, I think that's what would have happened last night if Jane Campion had won Best Director.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's
Yes.
the one category that it's like
Yeah.
sorry, I know we're talking history, but I feel like the most surprising victory other than that might have been I can't say her name unfortunately, right? But winning for Best Original Screenplay for Coda, because I really thought
Sean Hayden.
yeah, Paul Thomas
Yeah.
Anderson was going to win for Licorice Pizza. Like I thought he was the heavy favorite.
Because he had
No,
won
that
quite
was
a few of
adapted.
the
Coda won for adapted.
Oh,
Belfast
sorry.
won for
Yes,
original.
thank you. Sorry for
Yep.
Kenneth Branagh winning instead of Paul Thomas Anderson, which again, Branagh well deserved. Love that movie.
So we've got almost 100 years of Best Picture winners, meaning we have to multiply that by at least 5 for a total of winning films and nominated films. That's a lot of movies, my friends.
Yeah.
Well,
When
look
did they
how
make the shift
old
to
the
10?
idea of creating motion pictures are.
Yeah.
It was 2009 was when they made the shift to nominating.
to 10 movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
that they nominated 10 movies that year.
I think that year the Pixar film Up was nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
You were
Yeah.
correct.
So yeah, I
as well as
remember-
Up in the Air. So we had a lot of Up that year.
I remember because I used to record all the Oscar shows on VHS, and all the Best Pictures were the category was like no more than 5 films, but in 2009 they doubled it to 10 or 9, and it's interesting
But
to see that.
Yes, they doubled it.
Yeah.
But one thing I think that doesn't do as well as I remember back when I was a girl is the performances for Best Song. I feel like when I was a girl and when I was younger, those were so much more incredible. Like the year that Beauty and the Beast did it, and they had all 3. They had the cast, they had the radio brought the one, and they had all 3 of them singing at the same time. So you have Angela Lansbury, and then you have the 2 voices who did the other version, and then you have someone the one who wrote it all up there singing.
Which song did they Be My Guest?
No, Taylor's old Beauty and the Beast.
I think it was
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Which I think the
But-
closest we got was last night, or sorry, not last night. The last Oscars was when they did We Don't Talk About Bruno, because that was
Exactly, but I
yeah.
feel like most of them weren't as incredible as that. There aren't as many.
No,
none of
agreed,
the other
agreed.
animated movies got nominated for Best Song.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
like the year that it was Christina Aguilera versus Aaliyah with Mulan versus the Anastasia movie.
I think the problem is, if I remember, I think my favorite of those was when they had Robin Williams come out to do Blame
Yes.
Canada
Yeah, that was the
for
best
South
one.
Park,
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that might be one of my favorite like surprises when they're just like, here's Robin Williams doing that. And it was just, and you're right, it was big, it was fun, and that's what I think you're right. Where I wish they would go back to like one, just it feels like Best Song just doesn't have the power it used to.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you're right, where it's like do the big numbers with it.
They did that in 85 for Ghostbusters. It was very, very cheesy, but very funny and awesome. I remember seeing just a clip of that. And they also did Under the Sea from Little Mermaid,
Yes.
1989 or 1990 was the show. But yeah, we don't really have that Oscar magic, that sense of fun anymore, which was so
right.
prevalent, you know, it's so old school. I love it.
Because it's like we have to be so somber and we have to be so serious.
Right.
I wonder
It's
if
like
I think
just
that's
have some fun with it.
yeah.
For sure. Another fun thing, and I'm glad they had some of this the other night, the montages of like best films, movies throughout history. That has always been my favorite stuff. And you can actually 1998, 1999, for 98, it was the 70th anniversary. So they did every single best picture mentioned in a montage. It was like a 5-minute montage set to Randy Edelman's Dragonheart score. And it was just so perfect. Then they did.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, I don't know if it was the same year, but they had all the past best actor and actresses
Nice.
up there one time.
Oh
I think
yeah,
I remember that.
That was also the 70th.
That's what I was going to say. That was the most
Mm.
memorable of that one. I wasn't sure if it was the same or if that was 75 or something.
That was the 70th, and it was
Okay.
the Oscar family reunion. And they had, every actor and actress who has won an award, whoever is still alive, up until 1998. And it's just amazing. You got like,
that's
you got like Joe Pesci, Denzel, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro,
But
Whoopi
even going back to
Goldberg.
Shirley Temple.
Yeah, Shirley Temple is she's an old lady back then. You know, it was very, very cool. And that is that's on YouTube. And I might post that on the Facebook page for Unger the Radar at some point. But yeah, I'm big on that stuff. I'm very nostalgic, as you guys know. So yeah, it's fun stuff.
Well, I feel like you're hitting the nail on the head where I think the best Oscars to me are where it is just to celebrate. We're here to celebrate them.
Yeah.
We're not, the shticks and all that stuff, whatever, but it's like, we're here to celebrate the movies that are here and joining the legacy that came before.
Yeah.
And it feels like that just, I don't know why in all these recent ceremonies, especially this one, it just doesn't feel like that's there. That gravity just isn't there anymore.
I think that the reason for me that especially the comedic bits did not work throughout the show was because there was such a tonal shift from we have to take this part super, super seriously. And then now we're going to do jokes. Yeah. And then we're going to go back to being super serious. And we're doing art, like that sort of thing. And then then we're going to have a bit with Amy Schumer coming down as Spider-Man.
Right.
So
kind of ridiculous. It should be fun throughout the whole thing, peppered with the serious moments. Don't, have the whole thing so serious. Yeah, I agree with you.
I wonder if that's the strength of having like a Billy Crystal, just one person at the helm to set the tone and keep that throughout the whole night.
Well, that's the anchor, that the host
exactly
keeps it in everything in line. Also, they got to have like some fun gimmicks. Like for the 1996 award or 97 awards, they had the Lord of the Dance, and they set the music to a video of another montage, and it just works so great in sync with Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance tapping away on the stage. And we don't get that type of stuff now. So it's a shame.
Bring back Lord of the Dance.
Seriously.
He's still dancing there. We know he is. Bring him back.
I love it. Just take him out of the 90s. We'll bring him back. We need that magic, that spark.
Just bring out Nancy Pelosi can come out and introduce Riverdance.
I like it.
I don't know if you saw that video from the White House of her introducing it for the Irish Memorial Day.
That's why they couldn't make it. They're too busy. And they're too busy in DC.
Yeah.
So guys, how do you feel about the future of the Oscars? Do you think it's a bright one? Do you think it's going to be a little more serious going forward? Erica, how do you feel about the future of the Oscars?
I hope that it's able to continue. I want it to mostly stay the same. I don't want them to try too hard, and I don't want them to cut out all humor. I feel it was a little too scattered this year. I felt that sometimes the bits went for too long. I wasn't sure if it was because they have 3 hosts instead of 1. I felt that at sometimes there wasn't the same level of speeches. But one thing I did like was that some of the awards, they seemed to have where we didn't have 5 minutes of watching someone have to climb all the way down from upstairs to go and claim their award. They were like prepping them ahead of time so that by the time they finished the nominees, the person was running down the aisle.
Right.
And at least was good.
That happened at the SAG Awards with Michael Keaton. He was in the bathroom, but it's kind of a similar principle. Like, if you think they might be considered for the award, keep them relatively close to the stage. It would help.
Well, no, those were awards that were people that are always get the back seats.
Okay.
The special effects or the editor or someone.
Yeah.
That I felt like
Yeah.
that the way the cameras were set up, we didn't lose the 5 minutes to them having to go backstage and run through and then come back around and come down the aisle.
Right. Well, I don't know how I feel about the future of the Oscars, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping that we get back to that 80s, 90s flavor, that really silly, fun night at the Oscars, just a fun night celebrating the art of cinema. So, hopefully we'll get some of that in the future. How about you guys? What do you think about the future of the Oscars?
I mean, I kind of almost want them to scale back for next year. I really like the notion of having the nominees like sitting in the front and like having it feel like a more intimate sort of thing. I don't think that they need the gigantic set and all that stuff. Like I would prefer it to look something more like the old time roast, where it's like you can have everybody almost seated at a big long table like Last Supper, and like have the hosts like doing like, I mean, or even something like the White House Correspondents' Dinner or something like that. It's like have that sort of setup, focus on the people that are winning, focus on like there's plenty of opportunity to do cutaway to montages. Like you can spend your time in the broadcast doing that instead of doing these like little skits and stuff that don't usually land. That's kind of where I think it should go.
Okay. And I totally agree with that. Also, I think they could benefit from a different director.
Yes.
Someone who can kind of bring it all together in a cohesive way that's enjoyable and not just
and also
serious.
Better camera angles. A few times I thought the presenter's head was like right here.
Yeah.
The person giving the speech, and
that was a
Did
weird.
you notice that
that's
for
just me as a production person going,
right?
We need a new camera. They're right there. This is really awkward that they're like.
Well, Erica, did you notice that last night for the main stage they didn't actually have a cameraman? They had like that. Yeah. The camera was like on a weird like pole, and it would just like.
I was gonna say crane, but yeah, it was on a pole. It was just rotating, and I'm like, okay, this is the new social distancing, no camera people.
You're right.
Grips,
So I wonder
no camera.
It didn't look
I wonder if that's what contributed to that. The fact that there wasn't a cameraman there, that they were like somebody sitting there with like a lever trying to get it all figured out.
It was a little sloppy.
Were they really trying to joystick it or something?
Yeah.
I know that's not a term.
That's my impression.
All right.
But no, I guess I agree with I feel like the Oscars has been going through a massive identity crisis. And I think that was one of the reasons why it was such kind of so discombobulated. Like, especially like the fact that it was like, I remember when it first started, it's like, here's our DJ for the night. I'm like, oh, you're doing a DJ? And then it's like, oh, but now the second half, there's a band. It's like, oh, okay, Travis Barker from Blink. Okay, cool, whatever. And then it's like, for the third act, we have the actual full band. It's like, what is going on? Yeah, the orchestra. It's like, wait, you went DJ to small band to orchestra. None of this makes sense.
And DJ Khalid in the beginning, he like came on stage. It was just a weird.
Yeah, it was so. It's just that it's a huge identity crisis. I think they're trying to figure out how to appeal to whatever. And I'm like, I feel like you need to scale. I'm with the scale it back. Still keep the gravity, keep the bigness, scale it back. And I feel like go simple. Like I think that's the problem is they're trying to get too much. And it's like keep it focused on the awards, on the winners, and
whoever you have like hosting the thing, get someone that's funny.
Yeah.
Do like a tight 10.
Well, like you said, the thing that I always enjoyed about the Billy Crystal style is you would have the big opening number, blah, blah, blah. And then literally it would be like presenters, award. Billy Crystal will come out, crack a joke, get everybody woken back up again. Presenter, award. Yeah. Crystal coming back out, crack a joke, get everybody waking up again.
Yeah, that's the flow that we need.
Yeah.
But I think in the last 10 years or so, we've kind of lost that, which is really sad.
Exactly. And so I feel like that's kind of where it's like, maybe going back to one host, and especially one host who is good at that momentum, I think is exactly what they need.
And also timing.
Worked together a lot before.
Yeah.
We need Billy back for sure.
But also someone who's good at timing, who realizes when we're starting to lag, when we're starting to need to extend it a little. Someone who realizes, wait, I need to adapt this bit because we're running late and I know that we need to keep going.
Exactly.
And you know what, guys? Speaking of running late, I don't mean to be rude, but we have
play us off.
Yeah. But first, I just want to do some coming attractions for this week. We've got the new Michael Bay, Jake Gyllenhaal film, action adventure Ambulance, which looks pretty terrible. We've also got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fun time because the first one's great.
You got Tails and Knuckles now, so you got that at least.
For sure. So that's fun. We also have a French-Canadian biographical dramedy called Aline. And rounding things out, we've got a British documentary called Cow, which is getting a bunch of rave reviews, chronicling the daily life of a dairy cow in an attempt to move humans closer to them. So that could be promising.
And then Nick Cage has to rescue it from the New York food scene.
He trades faces with the cow. No.
Yeah.
Erica, any plugs for you tonight?
Oh, no. I finally am back to going back to normal. So anyone wants to hit me up, they can look me up on Facebook or email me erica.a268@hotmail.com. I'm looking forward to doing production again as life resumes. And so nothing to plug right now.
Well, we look forward to your future endeavors. Rachel, Eric, any plugs for you?
She's the exciting one.
So you can find my baking on Second Act
Bake Shop on Instagram. You can also find Dobby on Instagram at Dobby the House Doggo.
Oh.
Yep, and
He's asleep.
He's hanging out, falling asleep.
I want to thank you so much for tonight. This was amazing. You guys are amazing. And those watching or listening at home, if you want to watch previous episodes of Under the Radar, just go to the YouTube channel and subscribe and share. Also, you can see all new episodes every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and that's the Lifestyle channel. Also available on cable TV, FiOS 34, RCN 83, and Spectrum 56 and 1996. So guys, thank you. This was great. And I'll see you soon, I hope. And yeah, that concludes the Slapgate episode of Under the Radar. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Randy Unger, Under the Radar. See you next time. Take care.